everyone. Nice to be with you here. And nice to have such a nice introduction. Thank you for it. So, let's start. Let's start by looking at beautiful painting, where the colors and shapes create something truly amazing. I know, it's art. It's something subjective. But I think that in this case, The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, most of you will admit that the artist did a really great job. Now, if you're rolling your eyes and wondering, what the heck? If I'm in the right place, is it a waste conf or a path for developers or art history class? Please, don't leave this room and give me a chance. I'm heading in the right direction. Let's talk about websites. Website is like a canvas where we put all sorts of things. But what do websites have to do with painting? It's all about telling stories. Today, I want to talk to you how to use storytelling to make websites work better for people with disabilities and also show up more on search engines. Now, a little disclaimer. I'm not a developer. I'm a researcher and content creator. I love writing things and creating things that people really connect with, that can bring a value to them, can teach them something. I'm also really into art industry. So, a few years ago, I was working on audio description for people who are blind, to allow them to experience the art. You know, it was fascinating how you can convey the visual stuff in words. And I understand at this time that it's extremely important to tell the stories in a simple words, in a clear way. And you know why? I also realized that this storytelling mindset and approach can be easily applied to creating websites, to building them, to making sure that they are accessible to everyone. So let's back to our example, to The Starry Night. You know, when we look at this painting, people who just perceive with their eyes this kind of painting, our eyes just dance around and we take all of it. We take this whole picture as it is. But in the case of people who can't see so well or can't see at all, we have to first introduce them to the basic structure of it. We have to tell them what is the composition of it, what is the core meaning of it, to make them feel the mood of the painting. Then we can go into details. So in this case, I would start that this is a landscape painting of a night sky over a small hillside village with a cypress tree on the left foreground, and this village, and at the background with church. Yeah, that's the basic. But then we can go into details. So this time we can tell about the swirling stars, about glowing crescent yellow moon, about this green dark cypress tree, like rippling as a flame. We can tell about small, calm view of the village in the background, and this high tower of the church, and this windows with several lights inside. You know, this idea, this creation of this kind of structure, going from the main core, from the basic structure to the detail, also serves serve perfectly for website, making them easy to understand. So we all should treat websites as a chapters, or start to think about websites as the chapters in a book. You know, it's like each page has its own title, but they're all connected with each other, and they all make sense together with each other. So let's start with real head scratcher. And I have a question. Well, when heading is not just a heading, you don't have to answer, no problem. It sounds like a riddle, but actually it's one of the biggest issues we all face when we create accessible website. You know, these big, bold titles at the top of web pages, introducing different sections. Yes, those are headings. But guess what? In this case, they don't. In this case, this heading is just a visual heading. I know, this example looks pretty old school, but it was created by Web Accessibility Initiative, and I think it still convey the message. And this is the thing that many developers rarely pay attention to. They create these headings from the visual point of view. Okay, there should be some tags with divs and sections. So just imagine that. This is also one of the biggest problems, and the previous speaker, Marta, she said a lot about that. So I feel grateful that she mentioned that. So there is a bad habit between developers. As Marta also said, they put almost everything in divs and sections. You know, and from the people who just can see and perceive easily the website, it can look fine on the surface. But for the people who can't see, who rely on the assistive technology as a screen reader, this kind of structure is a total mess. So let's say we will build a website, news website. Yeah, okay, and we'll decide that we'll put everything in div. You see, there is no headline. We put everything from the headline to the content, everything in div. For the sighted user, it can look fine. It can even look as a perfectly organized website. We can read the story on this news website. But for people who can't see, it's like being in a dark room without any light switches. They rely on the screen readers, which read in a linear way. That means that they don't know where is the headline, where is the content, where the paragraph starts and when it ends. They are totally lost in this content. So instead of it, we can use semantic HTML elements for the clarity. So as you see here, we replaced the generic div with tag like article and h2. And this way, the screen reader can easily recognize that we have like a standalone news story, which has a heading, breaking news, and where the paragraph with the content of this article actually is. So with it, we make it more accessible, and people who use the screen reader can easily access it, read it. How did I find out that the previous example, this one, wasn't accessible? My previous speaker, he mentioned several tools, and that's really great. And I also used the one. Of course, I can check it easily in the source of the website. But this time, What I would like to tell you is it's just to incorporate into your work 2 great plugins, which is, for example, the one that I used, Wave Evaluation Tool and XDev Tools. With such tools, these plugins, we can easily recognize accessibility issues on the website, and this way improve our products. So I also have an example of WasteConf. It's not a really example, so don't worry. And anyway, I'm not suggesting that WasteConf should be redesigned. Yeah, so let's see. Here we have an example that I just write by myself. It's a WasteConf part of the code of the website. And for people who can see, if it would look like in a visual style, it could look fine. We even couldn't recognize that something is wrong. But for screen reader, you see, there is a H3 in the div, and the order is totally mixed up. So instead of it, it is better to create it like that. It is like more logical order that helps people to understand it better. So you have to imagine that headings, they are like a chapter in a book. So they are like titles that introduce us to different parts of the book. Imagine there is an exciting story you're just reading right now, but there are any chapters. Probably you will get lost in the plot, right? So headings and labels, they make us sure that we're not going to be lost in the plot of the websites. But what's also very important is to make them in a proper order. It's something like that Marta previously said. The rule is a trivial one, but it's very easy to remember. We have to start and do this heading order in a proper way. That means that we should start with H1, which should be followed with the next following numbers, H2, H3, H4, and so on. HTML provides 6 levels of headings. However, many specialists recommend to stick to maximum 4 to not overcomplicate the structure. But is it only about the order or just the visual way of it? It's also because of the screen readers. You know, when it's without those headings, they are like, they are just receiving the one title, one chapter of the book. And it would be like reading a crime story, for example. And if we will mix the levels, the headings, it would be like jumping from one chapter to another. It's like we're finding a crime story, we're just reading that the crime has happened, and then suddenly we just jump onto to the end of the story without even finding who the murderer was. So the next thing is like, we should also create the heading in a descriptive way. I know, most of you, if you are developers, most of you just get the text, the copy from the copywriter. It's not your thing, right? Or sometimes you just actually use ChatGPT, right? Even if you use those ChatGPT, you have to be self-conscious about that. Heading has to be descriptive. So in this case, I just contrasted to this non-descriptive with descriptive headings. Important info label tells nothing to the user. But if you would just modify it to explore our range of products, that means much more for people who can see and what is later after this. What is the overall the message of the rest of the content. And you know, those images and tables on the website, they are like illustration in the book. It's like, thanks to illustration in the book, it comes alive. So together, it's the same works for a website. So images and tables comes alive the website, the content, the written one. But here's the trick. We have to create this images and tables, build it, incorporate it into website with a clear description and describe what's going on these images and tables. And here, of course, alt text come in handy. Alt text could be like a separate speak for sure, or even workshop, but it's not the place for that. What I wanted you to remember from this speech, it's just that the alt text doesn't equal the name of the file. So in this case, I just used one of the illustrations which we have on Dodonut website. And as you see, the name of the file is dotobird.jpg. And now the thing, of course, alt text depends a lot of the context. That means that this illustration will have a totally different description, alt text, for this article and another one. And in this case, for example, I choose that this illustration will follow the text which we wrote about in-depth interviews, how to conduct it, a guide about it, and so on. So in this case, I would rather recommend to describe it as a dodo bird interviewing customer to find out their needs. Now, you can be wondering, so what is the connection of all of these things with search engines like Google? You know, Google can't see. Bots, they are just navigating the internet, the web, through the keyboard. That means when we incorporate all those accessibility things that we will make our website more accessible, they can see, they can receive the clear path and instruction about our content. So they will easily see what is our website about and where is the best stuff. You know, they are like a super curious reader. That means if they will get the best path to follow, like instruction where they should go, they will show up our website more on search engines. They will ranking better in the SEO ranks. That means that more users will come to our website. In essence, it's all about linearity. You know, building a website is like crafting a thrilling story. You, developers, you are like a storyteller. You're with the headings, with the proper order of the headings, you show the people like clear signposts where to go, adding images and tables which are really great prepared with proper alt text. We just give them like a juicy details about the story we want to tell them. You know, it's to sum up, it's just like I strive to tell people meaningful story from my writing. You can also create an engaging story through your website that resonate with the user, that unfold logically, and can boost SEO ranking. So I would like to leave you with these final words. The canvas isn't limited to the physical paintings. It extends to every digital space we create. Thank you for your attention.